Indigo. Big dog right now. Gives you a chance to get notified. want to say all praises to the Most High. Thank Him for remembering us. Thank Him for sending us the Holy Spirit. Thank the Most High for raising our vibration and keeping it high in these times. It's very difficult because the whole world is confederate with keeping our vibration low. As you can see, every day, it's more and more stories to keep our vibration, our thought patterns low. I can just tell you that I was led to go to Sedona last Saturday and Sunday, and to go on that Boynton vortex on Sunday. And there's a certain tree there that's all twisted up, and when I got close to it, around the air was cold. Got by the tree and it was hot. Then as I got back to the hotel that evening, all of a sudden, the shutdown, everything was about, they had come and struck a deal to open up the government, which then that was like the 40th day and the 40th night of the shutdown. And we know now about the number 4 is like an introduction. So this is now an introduction to a new era, a new time. And going from being fishers to hunters. And watching how within this last week, the other nations, especially here in America, are eating their own. We've all, I'm sure, heard about Trump and the supposed relationship with Clinton. If you haven't, I suggest you go and look on social media because it's all over the place. Just to say there was a special relationship going on between Trump and Bill Clinton. Which has been pretty amazing. But see, they're talking about the Epstein files and having relations with children, and some people trying to justify, well, a 15-year-old is much different than a 5-year-old. But it's like it's all it is the Most High confirming what we've already been bringing out. We've already told you that you don't care about your children. You don't care about your children at all. Because you took a vow to pretty much give your children to the church and let the priests do whatever they wanted to them, and you not say a word. You took a deal with the devil to come and take our land, knowing that it was going to fall on your children and they were going to have to pay for your actions of taking our lands. Jeremiah 16:19 lets us know that you never cared about your children. Let's go there real quick. Because you set your children up for failure. You set them up to be the ones holding the bag here at the end. Jeremiah 16:19. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge. And the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity, and things wherein there is no profit. And those were the things that were handed down to them. They realized that everything that their forefathers pretty much handed down to them was nothing but a bunch of lies. Great seeing you, Sister Lisa. You see what I'm saying? So you guys have never cared about your children. So save us with the BS. Okay? We are here to uplift our people. We are here to uplift our children. We are here to uplift the our ancestors and the things that they have suffered. We're here to bring those things out and to let you guys know that you will be paying for these things very soon. 3iAtlas is here to let you know that your time of believing that you don't have to pay is over. You do have to pay. We all have to pay. I like that. 3i at last. Third eye at last. Knowledge, understanding, spiritual knowledge, understanding here. 3i at last. Great point too. I like that one. Now I got a lot of information to share. So let me go here. Let me see. And this guy, well, let's take a look at Dabu 7's video. Brother Judah Israel has a section I want to play of his video that he put up a couple days ago. But let's take a quick look at some of Dabu 7's video, because they're talking about how 3iAtlas is looking like...
Hey guys, Dabu 7, we've got a new image here.
Hold on.
Of this 3iAtlas.
This new image of 3iAtlas, and it looks like a sword. Okay? So I'm going to play a little bit. Fair use. Fair use.
Hey guys, Dabu 7, we've got a new image here of this 3iAtlas. This is from the Starfront Observation, Chuck's Astrophotography. This looks like a giant sword. And it looks like the handle part on the left here, that's the part that is
green
facing
lightsaber,
toward the sun. And then you've got this massive jet kicking off out in the other direction. So this is one of the newest images. If you see these other crazy images out there on social media and you wonder why I'm not covering them, it's because they're probably fake, or I don't believe that they're real. I'm going with certified people out here, astronomers that are doing this on the daily, that everything that they're kicking out is 100. So people are flipping out about the details.
Fair use.
Again, they're saying that this thing has broke physics, that nothing makes any sense. They say that this 3iAtlas, and shout outs to Mav that's been tracking this, it has 0 A3 decay for 182 days straight. Now, he checked like 1,200 plus comets. Hale-Bopp was down 42% in 90 days. Borisov down 27% in 4 days. Oumuamua down 48% in 34 days. Atlas has 0 change. They say no comet has ever done this. A natural engineer, they can't explain none of this. But then Avi Loeb, he goes on to state here that in terms of these anomalies, we have a 12th or another anomaly where the jets are locked into position, and it makes no sense because this object is spinning. It's moving, it's rotating. In normal comets, look almost like a waterhead on a hose line that's rotating when going through space, kicking out all this material. This, again, is not doing it. So for what it's worth, they're saying the physics broken, these jets locked into position, making no sense, and all the other anomalies.
It makes no sense when you want to keep pushing the fact that you're saying that these things this thing is a comet. It is not a comet. It is a sword. It is the sword of his people. It is destruction coming for all the people that have been going against the Most High's chosen people. He said he was going to come back. Yahushua said he was coming back, but he's coming back as a lion this time. When Yahushua rose up into the clouds, we were looking up, watching him leave. We are now looking up at his return. Now, if you listen, I'm going to play a little bit. I'm going to go back and play a little bit of what he was saying when he's dug at the numbers. Listen to the numbers. The Most High is communicating through these numbers.
"82 days straight." Now, they say that this 3iAtlas, and shout outs to Mav that's been tracking this, it has 0 A3 decay for 180.
0 A3 decay. So
2
sounds
days.
like 3. Sounds like an 80, but A3 decay, there's number 3 decay.
Great. Now, he checked like 1,200 plus comets.
1,200 plus comets. That's a number 12. 3 right there again.
Was down 42% in 90 days. Borisov.
42%. 6 again. Another number 369. Okay.
27% in 4 days. Oumuamua.
27%. 9. Go back just a little bit. Just listen a little bit. I'm just gonna let it go here.
% in 90 days. Borisov down 27% in 4 days. Oumuamua.
Okay, 27, 9.
Down 48% in 34 days.
48%, 12 again.
Has 0 change. They say no comet has ever done this. It's natural, engineered, they can't explain none of this. But then Avi Loeb, he goes on to state here that in terms of these anomalies, we have a 12th or another anomaly.
Another 12. Okay, 3. Listen, it keeps on. All these numbers keep on repeating themselves over and over again. All their research keeps coming up with all these numbers: 3, 6, 9, 12, all that.
Where the jets are locked into position, and it makes no sense because this object is spinning. It's moving. It's rotating.
Okay. So thank you again, Dabu7, for that information. Okay. Now this one, we're going to get it. I'm going to show you I'll play a little bit of this guy's video. The sword. Okay. And
good morning.
Stephen Fletcher. Okay. So he kind of gives a couple of sources of information, right? So check this out.
Everybody, this is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people. Today's November 16th, 2025.
Fair use.
And I want to share these new photos of Comet 3iAtlas. This photo here was shared through Dabu channel, and it was also shared on BP Earthwatch. But this came from Chuck's astrophotography, and this photo came out on a live. He had a live video that he was streaming here. Chuck's astrophotography live best picture yet of 3iAtlas, and during his live this came out. So if you want to check his live video and see how this came out into his telescope and into his camera. And when BP Earthwatch put this into his resolution changer, I mean, all of the jets and all of the gas outflow of the comet, I mean, this is looking more like a comet now than it had in the past. And the way the light is coming out forward and behind it, it's like it has its own light source within it. Very amazing photos. And then one of the things that came out, Dabu, the way he shared it, was this looks like a giant sword. And it really caught my attention when he said this, and definitely visible, the handle of the sword here and the blade of the sword. And so I looked this up and in the Bible, and I found something really, really amazing, that in Isaiah 34, verse 5, it says, my sword shall be bathed in heaven. My sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, or Edom, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. The sword of the Lord bringing judgment, and the sword is bathed in heaven. Bathed means to be drunken. And if we read more in Isaiah chapter 34, when it talks about the sword of the Lord in verse 5, starting in verse 1, it says, "Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of the Lord is upon all nations, his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them, he hath delivered them to the slaughter. They're slain all."
The sword is coming on all nations. I'm going to pull out my old Bible and show you some of the precepts from this section right here. So this 3iAtlas is a sword coming to be bathed in the blood of our enemies.
"So shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the host of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their host shall fall down, as the leaf falleth off from the vine, as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment." And it goes on in verse 8, and it says, "For it is the day of the Lord's vengeance, and the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion."
So it's all because of what you've done to the Most High's chosen people. 3iAtlas is not coming to help you other nations. They're not coming to let you continue with what you've been doing because you're doing such a great job. It is coming for your destruction. This is why we are keeping our thoughts and frequencies high. Our thoughts and frequencies on the Most High. Thanking the Most High for remembering his covenant and for coming and remembering his planet. Remembering the animals, the water, the air, the land, the earth, and the people. This is why we do not give you permission to be here anymore. We do not give you permission to rule and reign over our lands anymore. It is time for punishment for the other nations. It is not Jacob's trouble, as if all of us are going into, trouble. That is, again, another tactic to try to keep us on a low frequency. Okay? Let's see, I'll let a little bit more play. I didn't play this in the whole video. I'm going to see how he's going to try to talk about Idumea.
Day of the Lord's vengeance is the day of the Lord. It could also refer to the Great Tribulation, and that the sword of the Lord, which is bathed in heaven, is prepared and coming for the day of the Lord, and the day of the Lord's vengeance, the day of the wrath of God. So is this a sign of the sword of the Lord coming with 3iAtlas, which we can also remember that when it's closest to Earth on December 19th, which is in the middle of Hanukkah, Comet 3iAtlas is going to be in Leo the Lion. who is going to wield the sword?
Judah.
The Lion of the tribe of Judah.
Yes, sir.
He is going to wield his sword.
Yes, he is.
And so this is another aspect
Amen.
of Comet 3iAtlas coming closest to Earth on Hanukkah in Leo the Lion. And now it's got the form of a giant sword in the heavens.
All praises.
And the Bible says that the sword of the Lord is bathed in heaven.
Yes, sir.
So what do you guys think about this? I wanted to share this with you. Another thing.
What does this mean? That's your ass. That's what this means. That's what this means. That's your ass right there. It is a wrap. The sword in Leo. Judah is coming with a mighty sword. Doesn't sound like he's doing much fishing anymore. Like we've been saying, we've been moving from the time of the fishers to the time of the hunters. This is why they keep on just making up, oh, Trump's going to do this. Trump's going to give 50-year mortgages. Trump's going to do this. He's going to open up this. He's going to open up that. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. Okay. It's nothing but a bunch of low-frequency stories. So let me show you what the scriptures say with some of the precepts. So let me get my Bible here real fast. I have a couple of books, but hold on. The Most High is speaking, but see, most people ain't listening. Most people are not trying to listen to this. They want to believe that somehow their pastors and their priests are going to be, explaining things for them. Okay. So, 34. Isaiah chapter 34, but the thing is that it tells you right here what's going on in this chapter. The judgments wherewith the Most High revengeth his church. The judgment wherewith the Most High revengeth his church. Now, I thought the church was white Christianity, Constantine Christianity. His church are his people. There was no Catholic or Constantine Christian church during the time of Isaiah. So when he's referring to the church here, he's referring to his people, the Israelites. His church are the Israelites. How are you going to explain that away when it's talking about this in the book of Isaiah? Right here. In the book of Isaiah. Right there. This is in the 1830s. I'm going to say this Bible's from the 1830s. The judgments wherewith the Most High revengeth his church. He is coming to avenge what has happened to his people. Now, you can check out these precepts. You can pause it later on and check out these precepts on your own. Okay? Because I'm only going to talk about pretty much mostly chapter... what is it? Hold on. Verse 5. I'm going to concentrate on verse 5 and these precepts right here. So you go to verse 5. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So we're going to take a look at Deuteronomy 32 and 41, Jeremiah 46 and 10, and Malachi 1, 2, and 4. Okay, we're going to take a look at those ones. But what I'll do is I'll leave it here for a second so you guys can pause it. And if you want to come back later on and look at all these other precepts that, as you can see on your own, I'm not going to go through all that here. Okay? So I'm going to concentrate on these ones, okay? So I'm going to just read them, all right? All right, so first one, Jeremiah 46 and 10. Y'all can go there with me if y'all want. Jeremiah 46 and 10. All right, so Jeremiah 46 and 10. For this is the day of the Most High of hosts, a day of vengeance, that he may avenge of his adversaries, and the sword shall devour, and it shall be satiate and made drunk with their blood. For the Most High of hosts hath a sacrifice in the north country by the river Euphrates. North country, North America, where the dove has resided, over here, over North America, the North country. He has an appointment over here. So again, and the sword shall devour, and it shall be satiate, okay, and made drunk with their blood. For the Lord power of hosts hath a sacrifice in the north country by the river Euphrates. This is why they've always been trying to make it seem as if prophecy is going to be happening over there in the so-called Middle East, when it's actually happening right here. It's going to be happening right here. Okay, next one. Let's see. Deuteronomy 32. It's Deuteronomy 32, 41, but I'm going to read 40, 41, and 42. Okay? 40. Deuteronomy 32 and 40. For I lift up my hand to heaven, and I say, I live forever. If I whet my glittering sword, is not this sword glittering in space right now? Yes, it is. I will make mine, if I whet my glittering sword, and mine hand take hold on judgment, I will render vengeance to mine enemies, and will reward them that hate me. So the ones who are hating the Most High and his people, vengeance and revenge is coming on you. Okay? I will make mine arrows drunk with blood, and my sword shall devour flesh. And that with the blood of the slain and of the captives, from the beginning of revenges upon the enemy. This is revenge on the enemy. That is what is coming. That is what 3iAtlas is showing you. That's what 3iAtlas is bringing. That's why now it's looking like a sword right now. Next is going to be Malachi 1. Malachi 1, 2, and 4. Okay, number 2. I have loved you, saith the Most High. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Most High? Yet I loved Jacob. 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Most High of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Most High hath indignation forever. The Most High is coming after Edom, as well as all who have made a covenant with Edom. All that have made a covenant with Edom. All of you. This is Malachi 1, verse 2 and 4. Okay? Pretty self-explanatory what you are seeing right now. This is all praises, and keep our emotions and our thoughts high. Next, the book of Enoch. I was cracking up at all these people all of a sudden just trying to get into all these other books. All these people all of a sudden now realizing there's all this information in all these other books. See, when y'all were in your blessing, y'all didn't want to hear nothing about any other books. Didn't want to hear a damn thing about any other books. Now all of a sudden everybody thinks there's some type of expert on all these other books all of a sudden. This is the book of Enoch, chapter 89 from the Sefer. We're going to start chapter 89 around the verse 25. Talking about a sword is going to be given to us to go against our enemies. Do you not see the sword in the sky now? That's going to be given to Judah when it's in Leo, December 19th, around the time of Hanukkah. All coming together, is it not? This is what happens when you listen to these people and they don't tell you about the 66 books that they don't even read. Down here. Then I saw that the man who wrote the Sefer, okay, at the word of Yahweh, opened the Sefer of destruction, okay, of that destruction which the last 12 shepherds wrought. You last 12 shepherds have done way more, right? And pointed out before Yahweh of the sheep that they destroyed more than those who preceded them. I saw also that Yahweh of the sheep came to them, and taking in his hand the scepter of his wrath, seized the earth, which came rent asunder, while all the beasts and birds of heaven fell from the sheep. See how they're running from us now, running to get away, right? Fell from the sheep and sunk into the earth, run into their underground bunkers, trying to hide, right? Which closed over them. I saw too that a large sword was given to the sheep, who went forth against all beasts of the field to slay them. A large sword is going to be given to the people of the Most High. Okay? And what's going to happen to the other nations? Against all the beasts of the field to slay them. But all the beasts and birds of heaven fled away before their face. And I saw a throne erected in a delectable land. Now see, we've already been given these swords. It's been this truth. And as you can see, all nations have already been running from us in the spirit realm. All have been running away from this truth in the spirit realm. None have stood up to come against the words that I have been sharing and people like me have been sharing. When they make the connections, you can see who the Most High is dealing with, who the Holy Spirit is dealing with, when they can make connections with other books and bring the rest of the story together. It's an old Bible from 1830s. This is a different one right here. This one is the Sefer. It has other books in it already. I'm going to get into another one right now. But see, this is like way more Bible, way more information that the church has hidden, has worked to hide this whole time. Hold on, let me get this other one here. So first, let's see here, hold on. And now I'm going to get into this, the Old Testament pseudepigrapha. Hold on, family. Apocalypse of Abraham. We'll start up here. And then from your seed, let's talk about the end age right here, will be left the righteous men in their number, protected by me, who strive in the glory of my name toward the place prepared beforehand. Okay? From which you saw deserted in the picture. Okay? And they will live being affirmed by the sacrifices and the gifts of justice and truth in the age of justice. And they will rejoice forever in me. And they will destroy those who have destroyed them. They will rebuke those who have rebuked them through their mockery, and they will spit in their faces. Down here. And then I will sound the trumpet out of the air. That goes right there with the whole breaking of the clouds. I'm going to say Matthew 24 and 30. Okay, trumpet out of the air. And I will send my chosen one, 3iAtlas, having in him one measure of all my power. And he will summon my people, humiliated by the heathen. And I will burn with fire those who mock them and ruled over them in this age. And I will deliver those who have covered me with mockery, white Jesus, over to the scorn of the coming age, because I have prepared for them, okay, to be food for the fire of Hades, and to be ceaseless soaring in the fire of the underworld. So right here, for the makers will see in them justice. The makers who have chosen my desire and manifestly kept my commandments. And they will rejoice with merrymaking over the downfall of the men who remain and who followed after the idols and after their murders. That's what you guys did right here, you other nations. For I waited, all right, so they might come to me, and they did not deign to. And they glorified an alien god, white Jesus, and they joined one to whom they had not been allotted, our own people who joined them, and they abandoned the Most High and gave them strength. Who gave them strength? So this is your, all right, Genesis 15:13. Therefore hear, Abraham, and see, behold, your seventh generation shall go with you, and they will go out into an alien land, and they will enslave them and oppress them as for 1 hour of the impious age. That's your Genesis 15:13, the 400 years. But of the nation whom they shall serve, I am the judge. And the Most High said this too. Have you heard, Abraham, that I told you, okay, that your tribe will encounter in the last, what your tribe will encounter in the last days? Abraham, having read, accepted the words of the Most High in his heart. You can pause it and read it right there for yourself. So these guys are not going to tell you what's going on right now, because they know that this 3iAtlas is coming for them. Now I want to play a little bit of Brother Judah Israel's video, because he was showing a video that kind of was explaining all these anomalies with 3iAtlas. So I'm going to play a little bit of his video that you guys check out. Hold on.
The controversy over who Israel truly is, okay? And their suffering. Our Father has heard the cries. He's seen our tears. He's heard our prayers, and he's heard our supplications. And in his time, this is why he's gonna send our Messiah back, because of his people, Israel. Okay, family? Now I have a video to share about our 3iAtlas updates. And listen to what is being said about this thing. Listen to what has been said.
Wasn't supposed to notice us. It wasn't supposed to aim. Yet the light arrived in a perfect line, as if drawn by intention rather than chance. For the first time, the universe didn't just shine, it looked back. The visitor called 3i. It began like every other distant discovery, a speck of motion lost against the static brilliance of the stars. Astronomers logged it automatically, cataloging its faint shimmer near the constellation Pegasus. To them, it was just another frozen wanderer, one more artifact from the silent regions between suns. But within days, that casual classification began to crumble. The object's trajectory was too disciplined, its acceleration too clean, and its path across the ecliptic oddly deliberate. Space debris doesn't behave like that. It drifts, it tumbles, it submits to gravity without argument. Yet this thing, labeled 3iAtlas, seemed to be navigating, steering itself through the gravitational tides with an elegance that made computers pause before plotting. At first, the Global Astronomy Network dismissed the odd readings as data noise, a lens glitch, maybe a calibration error, but independent observatories, Hawaii, Lacia, Mauna Kea, Cerro Tololo, all reported the same pattern. Whatever 3iAtlas was, it had entered our system with precision that mocked coincidence. Comets are predictable creatures. They obey the quiet mathematics of sunlight. Their brightness increases roughly with r to the power of -4 as they near the sun. A tiny rule that makes them...
There's your -4. There's your 4 again. Introduction to the new age.
Light curves as dependable as calendars. Atlas broke that law from the moment it was seen. Its light refused to obey geometry. Instead of glowing gradually, it flared and faded, as though it possessed a rhythm of its own, an invisible metronome pulsing in the dark. For the first time in years, astronomers found themselves staring at live data that felt almost personal. Numbers rose and fell like breathing. Every reading carried a pulse, and somewhere in that patternless chaos, a whisper of intention seemed to exist. The unsettling idea that this object might not simply be passing through, but performing. The first signs of rebellion. Then came the night that changed everything. The observatory logs show a magnitude of 18, a dim, barely perceptible glow.
18, 1 and 8, 9. 9 means destruction.
Than 24 hours later, the same coordinates erupted at magnitude 12. That is not a small adjustment. It's a
Magnitude 12, 3. So the Most High is giving all these numbers for us to know. Like it's pulsating, it's changing, but it's coming back to these specific numbers. Okay, so 12 right there.
six-fold leap in luminosity, equivalent to a comet suddenly turning on a floodlight. Telescopes worldwide scrambled to re-verify the readings. No one trusted their instruments, but every sensor, every image confirmed the same impossible surge. Atlas had brightened hundreds of times faster than physics allowed, as though it were breathing energy instead of reflecting it, and just as quickly as it appeared, the light sank back into shadow. The cycle repeated again, days later, spontaneous, violent, unpredictable. Comets don't do this. Their outbursts are sluggish, dictated by frozen gases, slowly evaporating as the sun's heat reaches them. The entire process takes weeks, not hours. Yet 3iAtlas pulsed like a living system, its luminosity climbing and collapsing without warning. When astronomers plotted its brightness on a chart, the curve no longer resembled the smooth rise of a comet's approach. It looked like a seismograph, erratic, trembling, chaotic. Each spike tore holes in the formulas used for centuries to predict celestial behavior. Equations built around r to the power of -4 failed instantly. Revised models using r to the power of -6 or -7 still couldn't match the ferocity.
-6, so again in a 6 and in a 7. You see all these numbers again. They keep on putting these numbers out there again and again and again. See that?
Of its chain. Some analyses estimated its brightening followed an impossible slope near r to the power of -7.5, a rate of increase no natural body had ever shown.
7.5, 7 plus 5, 12, 3. See, the Most High is speaking to us through these numbers, confirming these things to us through these numbers.
The disbelief soon gave way to fascination. It wasn't just frightening, it was doing so on its own schedule, ignoring solar distance entirely. Data logs from professional observatories and backyard telescopes alike began to align into the same haunting rhythm. The pattern didn't fit gravitational mechanics or chemical sublimation.
You see all this stuff you're saying about 3iAtlas? Comets, they like soar and be tumbling and stuff through space. But 3iAtlas, it's like it's being navigated. You know? It's like on a trajectory, like as if it was being navigated by something or somebody. So it's not a natural object. Okay, it is a vessel. And there are some who is flying it. And I'm hoping that it's the heavenly hosts, and hopefully Earth is their destination.
Thank you, brother, for that video. I left it up there so you guys can see his channel and everything else. So you guys can go Judah Israel if you guys are interested right there. Here, I'll show y'all. Y'all can check out Brother Sly's video. I shared a couple of videos in the community section. Brother Moriel as well. You know, I said, so just got a lot of people, like I said, the Most High, definitely, I see a lot of brothers and sisters going to Brother Big Levi's, Sister Lisa's channel. I mean, just, as you can see, there's all this information that's coming out. All this information coming out. And it's all pointing to what we've been saying this whole time. Your destruction. Your destruction. That is what is going on. Now, another video that came up, I want to talk about real quick, is there's been these, you know, you guys heard the story about, some of you guys, most of you guys I'm sure heard a story about the lady who was doing the experiment and calling the churches and playing like a music or a sound with a baby crying in the background and her asking for formula. And a lot of these churches refuse to give formula to the baby or to this woman for the baby. And there's this one church in Germantown, Tennessee, outside of Memphis, and this one woman's just been just destroying them, going into their records, going into this, going into that, and pretty much just exposing a lot of the things that their churches have been doing, or the illegal stuff and things like that. Well, the pastor is trying to come out and like defend himself. And today, it's like the Most High is making them, all this stuff that's happening on the left-hand side is controlled by the Most High. So this information about the churches not giving things to people who aren't part of their church, aren't part of their group, all of a sudden talking about children and how they, are trying to protect children. I was like, we've been telling you that these churches ain't shit, that they don't care about children. They've been raping children, doing whatever they wanted to each other, to people in the congregation, sleeping with each other, everything else. And none of you guys have cared. Now all of a sudden they're like, oh, well, now we can see through these stories that, these churches aren't right. They're doing all these things wrong. I was like, you guys have already known they've been doing these things, but you didn't care. And you don't care today. Okay? You don't care. All your religion is please somebody come and pay for these sins for me. That's all your religions are. Nothing else. And now it's coming to the light that what we've been telling you is true, and that everyone's going to have to pay. And now all of a sudden, many of you guys are starting to abandon your religion because you're realizing that all the BS that your pastors and priests have been telling you is nothing but a bunch of lies. Okay? So let me go over here real quick.
That's what I'm saying. If it's, that's what I'm saying. If it's, that's what.
So Oh, hold on.
Some of the pastors of the churches that said no to the women calling about formula are starting to respond.
Share a few remarks.
So everybody calling these people witches and everything else.
Some of the
It's
pastors
another
of
one.
the churches that said no to the women calling about formula are starting to respond.
Share a few remarks about the last few days. If you are unaware, there are letters to the church that are on the welcome station in the lobby, and you're welcome to pick one of those up.
I assume that's the same letter that they had posted on their Facebook and then deleted. I did post it at the end of this video, though, if you want to check it out.
A video that attacked our church.
Attacked? They called you up and asked for baby formula, and you guys said no. That is not an attack.
These people want to be us so bad. Now, if somebody calling for a formula and you saying no and now getting backlash, those are now means that you're now being attacked. You guys are now, you want to be persecuted so bad because you guys have been doing the persecuting this whole time. Now you want to try to assume our position as being the persecuted and the ones that are being attacked.
Has now nearly 1 million views. People who know us know us.
I just posted another video that broke down how this pastor in his letter used a very well-known manipulative tactic called Darvo. But imagine my surprise when I watched this video and saw another manipulative tactic that I talk about on my channel, which is when you confront somebody and their response is, "But you know me. You know me."
People ask, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What is your church going to do? The answer is, we're going to keep doing what we do. Amen? Jesus said in the Sermon on the Mount, Matthew 5:44, love your enemies and pray for those who persecute you.
Persecuted? There are Christians around the world who literally have to meet in caves because if they are found to be worshiping Jesus, they will be... That is...
That's bullshit. Oh, they have to meet in caves. See, again, those were things that our people did in the book of Maccabees. Our people had to leave and go hide in caves in order to follow the commandments and the things that our power had us do. But you guys, there's Christians that have to go hide in caves in order to worship Jesus. So you're trying to take the things that happened to us and apply them to you. Just like the persecution, all of a sudden, now you want to act like you're persecuted. Again, take the things that you churches, all of you churches were guilty of persecuting the Israelites. You were all part of the Catholic Church, and you're all about persecuting the Israelites. Not allowing us to follow our power, our laws, our statutes. So see, that's what you guys have been doing.
A persecution. Having somebody call you and ask you for baby formula and then posting that video is not persecution.
Exactly. But they want to act like they're being persecuted. There's a couple of these I wanted to share, but hold on.
The internet is just undefeated.
Not that one. Hold on.
If this is not what Jesus told you to do to homeless people, you do know.
I do have some little detectives in my chat, as some of you have picked up a little Easter egg that I used a different picture of Pastor Matt Brown in my last video. And in this picture, he's wearing a logo on his polo that is for a very profound, very expensive beach club.
This is the one that's out in
But this
Tennessee,
photo that
Memphis,
he's
Tennessee
wearing
area.
this logo t-shirt in is his board member position on a nonprofit called the Filter Project. This nonprofit provides filters for water in Kenya. And we'll dig into this nonprofit a little bit later in a different video. But back to the beach club. This Watersound Beach Club experience in Florida is actually so out of touch with reality, it's kind of crazy. First, the initiation fees are $75,000 to get into this club. And it's $11.50 a month for their dues every single month after. They have beach clubs, pools, tennis and pickleball courts that span 4 acres, wellness centers, 3 different styled inns with 7 different restaurants. And their menus are not cheap. This seems like an extravagant thing to be able to afford on a senior pastor's salary. And while Matt Brown's salary is not public information, they don't disclose it in any of their nonprofit records. Tennessee's mid-range total pay package for a senior pastor in their mega churches, specifically in Tennessee, is between $75,000 and $91,000. Though Matt Brown has a PhD in theology, so his experience is a little bit more credited. So I could see that going well over $100,000 for him. But that's not like a lot of money. That's a year. I mean, the beach club initiation fee alone is 3/4 of that salary. But Pastor Matt Brown's Instagram is also very public. And while I'm a better person than most people and I'll cut his kids out of the pictures, they should really work on internet safety. Because they posted a picture of the exact grades that their kids are in and their kids wearing their school uniforms. And this is the son in the picture as well. Take note of the colored uniform. Their kids go to a very private Christian school in Memphis, Tennessee. I'm not going to blast the school name because this isn't about the kids. Leave the kids out of it. But he did list what grade they're in. They are in high school, so their tuition is $19,000, nearly $20,000 a year each. Plus they have all these yearly fees, almost $700 for each year for a deposit. I mean, we're pushing into like $45,000 to $50,000 a year in just private school tuition for 2 kids out of 4 because 2 of his kids are now out of school. So this isn't just a new thing. They've been paying for these private schools for a while and for 4 kids. And there's a few more things on his social media that many of you have pointed out that makes you wonder what kind of income he's actually living off of, because this is a picture of him and his kid damn near courtside at a Grizzlies game, him and his wife in Greece, and for reasons just like this, they can write the entire church off because they went to go see some historical religious figures there, like the Apostle Paul's statue. And while all of these may be write-offs, they still have to have the money in real time to pay for it. They just write it off as an income credit at the end of the year. So it's not like they do this stuff for free. And let me tell you, these Broadway tickets, they're not cheap. One thing I did notice is on Germantown Baptist Church's Facebook page, they do have step-by-step updates of everything that was being updated in this worship center that had a...
So the main thing I wanted to show you is like how crooked we've already been talking about these churches are, right? But he tried to have a sermon today, and she recorded it, and she was talking about it. And again, she's going to show you. Like I said, just this is the Most High putting a spirit on her to search, to get into this information, to get into this stuff. And she pretty much says that he doesn't worship Jesus, he worships Paul, which is exactly what we've already been saying. So we've been saying. So I'm going to play a little bit of that video. So I want to kind of show you that she's been doing a bunch of videos for the last few days on this guy.
I just watched Germantown Baptist Church's Sunday sermon, so you don't have to. And that man was preaching to a mostly empty congregation. This is right in front of him. All of the seats in the middle are empty, and this is where most of the people are. All of the top balcony seats are completely empty. But then that empty spot goes all the way up to the front, and there's no one on this side of the camera. And I mean, all of the seats in front of him, all the way over, are completely empty. I'm going to clip this down because he took so long to say one exact point and put so much church mumbo jumbo in the middle of it. But it's important to me that you watch this so you can see actually who this man is. This is not a follower of Jesus. This is a follower of Paul. We're going to count how many times he says Paul's name, and he based this entire sermon off of Paul's story in Romans. The only time he speaks of Jesus in this entire sermon is to justify his past sins with Jesus' crucifixion, just like Paul. His entire sermon is basically saying, we're all sinners and no one is better than anybody, so I didn't do any more wrong than you.
Paul says, pass over those sins.
Now I'm going to show you. He tells you right here that they pray that pretty much Jesus is not fair. They don't pray that Jesus or God is just. They do not pray that he is fair. They pray for forgiveness, which is exactly what we've been saying. No one is saved. That is what I did a video on a little while ago, I said no one's saved. Everyone has to pay. They push the whole heaven and hell. Your pain and your hell is going to be, your hell is going to be here. Just like we had to keep coming here and paying for our sins, now you are going to do the same. No one gets out of it. We paid, you pay. And this pastor is going to admit that right now. So watch.
Because he knew at his appointed time, sovereignly appointed time, God would send his son Jesus to die for you and to die for me. Paul says that God did that at a point in time in Jesus, after God had been passing over the sins previously committed by the people.
Now see, you're not going to say that he was passing over the sins of the Israelites. He skipped of the people before. He's not saying the Israelites, because again, that means that Jesus would have been coming to atone for the sins of the people that were getting passed over before, which had nothing to do with you Constantine Christians. So let me just go back just a little bit so you can hear that part.
And to die for me.
So like a 5-minute clip.
Paul says that God did that at a point in time in Jesus, after God had been passing over the sins previously committed by the people before the time of Christ, since the time of Adam. You see, the fair and...
Why would you not say the Israelites? Why are you, the people before Jesus, back to the time of Adam? Who are the people who are observing Passover? Who are the people that were commanded to actually observe Passover? But see, that's an Israelite book, and you're not even going to admit that this had anything to do with the Israelites?
Just thing is for us all to pay the price for our sin and rebellion.
Again,
if you were to step back, and God had been passing over the sins previously committed by the people before the time of Christ, since the time of Adam. You see, the fair and just thing is for us all to pay the price for our sin and rebellion. If you were to step back and say,
the just thing is for everyone to pay for the sins of the past. Exactly. That is the just thing.
Okay, well, I want just thing is for us all to pay the price for our sin and rebellion. If you were to step back and say, okay, well, I want God to just simply be just and fair to everybody.
No, you don't.
And I just want God to be impartial and just give everybody what they deserve. Right? Some of you might say, those who have been good should get to go to heaven. Those who have been bad should get at least some punishment of some kind at the least, and hell for those who are really bad. If God has demanded that his law be followed, and according to Paul, we haven't followed it, how in the world does God...
Bingo. If God commands that his laws be followed, you have not followed it. So see, this is like when we get a hold of this and we start listening to it, we have the Holy Spirit, and she's going to just be, look at this, look at this, look at this, listen to this, listen to that. Bring it out. Explain it. Yes, that's exactly how the Most High is. He wants everyone to take responsibility for what they have and haven't done. Most High told you to kill certain ones of us, but don't kill don't kill more than that. Y'all did way more, and now all this is now coming on you.
God fairly make us just without condemning all of us to hell. How does God do that? You can't do that.
Listen to this.
You can't let people off the hook. Their guilt. God has demanded that his law be followed. And according to Paul, we haven't followed it. How in the world does God fairly make us just without condemning all of us to hell? How does God do that? He can't do that. You can't let people off the hook. They're
Nope.
guilty.
Yep.
We've broken the law. He says this in verse number 21. The law is the one that has told us we're unrighteous.
Bingo.
This is Paul's point. There's actually not a single one of us who does good in a way that gets us off the hook. Do you realize that? Well, let's just let the good ones go to heaven. Well, the big problem with that is none of us are good. Not one. This is, again, Paul's argument in the beginning of Romans chapter 3. None of us make the cut. We don't really want God to be fair.
No, they don't.
I hope you know that. Some will say, just want God to be fair. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
Some will say, I just want God to be just.
No,
you don't.
No, you don't.
You want God to be merciful.
Yep.
You want God to pay the price for you to make you righteous because you can't pay it on your own. Let me be clear. If God is fair, you'll go to hell.
You see that? You don't want him to be just. You don't want God to be just. You don't want God to be fair. Because then you're going to have to pay for your sins because that's how it is. But the thing is, that's how he's been with us. We didn't get a Jesus to pay for our sins. So why do you think you get a Jesus to pay for your sins? We have been going into captivity after captivity after captivity this whole time because we broke the commandments. We broke the covenant. We have been paying. So like he said, you don't want him to be just. You don't want him to be fair. No, you don't. No, you don't. Because if that's the case, then you're going to have to pay for your own sins, which is exactly what 3iAtlas is representing. The sins that you have refused to pay for and have said that you don't have to pay for, 3iAtlas is showing you, yes, you are going to pay. Yes, it doesn't matter what you say, you are going to pay.
If God is just, I'm condemned already. If God is fair, you'll go to hell. If God is just, I'm condemned already to hell. There is no hope for me if God is simply just without being merciful. 3. Paul goes on to say, beginning in verse number 25, that righteousness is demonstrated.
Righteousness is
It means God will
demonstrated.
make you right with him without requiring you to earn it.
What?
Paul said,
That is not what that means. You see that right there? How you just switched up all of a sudden? Your righteousness must be demonstrated. How are you righteous? By following the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High. The things that you have been telling the people that they don't have to follow. You see that right there? Oh, real quick. Oh, let's listen to that part real quick. We're almost done. This is about it right here.
you to make you righteous because you can't pay it on your own. Let me be clear. If God is fair, you'll go to hell. If God is just,
I don't know why y'all keep saying that you can't pay the price. Yes, you can. You're going to pay the price. Oh, you can't pay for your own sins. Yes, you can. You can follow these curses just like we did. You're going to follow the payment plan of the sins just like we did. The payment plan is written in Deuteronomy 28, 16 through 68. So yes, you can't stop saying you can't pay. Yes, you can. Yes, you will. You're gonna pay. We paid, you pay. I was like that though. Well, you can't pay for your sins.
God to be merciful. You want God to pay the price for you to make you righteous because you can't pay it on your own.
Oh,
Let
yes,
me
you
be
can.
clear.
Yes,
If
you
God
can.
is fair, you'll go to hell. If God is just, I'm condemned already to hell. There is no hope for me if God is simply just without being merciful. 3. Paul goes on to say, beginning in verse number 25, that righteousness is demonstrated. It means God will make you right with him without requiring you to earn it.
What?
Paul presents a problem.
God will make you right with him without you having to earn it. God will make you right with him without making you but you don't have to earn it. That is your whole Christian religion to the T. You want to be made right with God without having to do anything for God. See that right there? Facts on top of facts right there.
Precisely when Paul
And
begins.
that was enough right there. So listen to this sister right here.
I just read some shit that says it's crazy how motherfuckers don't need no proof to believe a lie, but need all the proof in the world to believe the truth. That shit right there makes me want to wrap my hands around a bitch neck. I just read some shit that says it's crazy how motherfuckers don't need no proof to believe a lie, but need all the proof in the world to believe the truth. That shit right there makes me want to...
And that's exactly what has been going on this whole time, in this whole world. Don't need any proof to believe a lie, but I want all the proof to believe the truth. So I want to say thank you to everybody who's here this evening. Much love, much respect, and keep those frequencies high. Much love, family. Shalom.